Sorry.
And there it is. This I swear this stuff is sometimes it drives me up the wall as far as the hiccups. I can see the lag. I can actually see the lag. It
Oh,
lagged
okay.
at the very end, so while you was laughing, it didn't get through the full scene.
Oh, okay. Can I make my announcement for the people?
Yeah, you could go ahead and make your announcement before we get to anything else.
Okay, for those of you who are parents or just kids at heart, check out the channel Chicago Kids here on YouTube because they have Hard Rock, Coco, and Joe and Susie Snowflake. I think if they've got those two, they probably also have that lovely bebop version of
Frosty the
Frosty
Snowman.
the Snowman. You know, I love that. Dumpity dump dump dumpity dump dump. Hey, look at Frosty. Dee, 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 dee. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You are so much into it right now.
it's for me as a kid. Those are the things that made the season. Those are the things that made the season, and you knew, um, especially if you didn't have a lot of money,
Hmm.
so there weren't a lot of events to go to. Um, you could at least catch all the specials. And each channel had its own flavor. WGN here in Chicago was known, they had Garfield Goose and Friends, at least one a day would run Hard Rock Cocoa and Joe or Susie Snowflake or Frosty the Snowman. And sometimes they would run all three, but they would run those for that week leading up to the holiday. So it was fun, and especially when you didn't have to go to school, you could get up and watch it and eat your cereal and not have to be worried about rushing out the door. You know, WGN also had all the great old Christmas musicals. So you had what is it? You had White Christmas, you had Holiday Inn, Meet Me in St. Louis. You had all those great old MGM musicals. And then New Year's Eve, they had, I think, they had all the Marx Brothers movies and ran them through the night until they didn't have any more Marx Brothers movies to show. Um, ABC had all the top flight Rankin Bass. So you had Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you had Frosty the Snowman, Year Without a Santa Claus, and all of that. NBC had things like an interesting thing called The Night the Animal Talked, The Little Drummer Boy, and I think one or two other. But the most of their stuff was the Christmas variety special. So you had, of course, Bing Crosby. Bing Crosby was on ABC. You had Andy Williams and people in that age doing their specials on NBC. CBS, you had Charlie Brown, you had The Grinch. And on Sundays, you would sometimes get an animated version of A Christmas Carol. And I think it was around the holidays that they introduced their version of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I think it was 90 minutes animated thing. It was fun for the time because I didn't know about that book at the time. So it introduced me to C.S. Lewis. And then I saw the Wonderworks miniseries and finally started reading. And, here we are. Um, but that was basically how we would get all of our stuff. And and it was free and you could watch it, and you would get the TV guide and you could pick, your if you were lucky, you get that first hour after the news because that's when they had all the kiddies stuff, unless it was something longer. But usually when it was something for kids, it was never longer than 90 minutes. So you would get all that stuff, and then the adults would get the older people stuff. But it was, it's what made your childhood at that time of the year special because you had stuff to watch. And so, and if you were somebody, you didn't have the money to run out and see whatever the latest movie was or whatever they were doing downtown, that was great. It gave you something. So if you're interested, go to Chicago Kids, check them out. You cannot save it to your, excuse me, sorry, drinking cola. You cannot save it to your playlist because there are copyright issues, and it's made. I think it is made it because it's called Chicago Kids. So there are copyright issues, and there are kids who check this stuff out. So they run those channels a little differently, but it's just earmark it, subscribe, go watch it, and enjoy. You know,
See,
that's
now
that's.
I got a trivia question for the both of you.
Oh, okay.
Since the overall caption for tonight's show was dealing with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
See?
dealing with Hermes the elf who didn't like to make toys, who wanted to be a dentist. Here's the trivia question for you.
What was the original song they sang instead of Misfits?
Mm-mm.
But I
Did
know
you
that
know
song.
that Rankin Bass was not the first Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer that was ever shown?
I know
There
there were other versions of it. I just can't remember who got there before Rankin Bass.
there was the very first Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, like I say, was financed by Montgomery Ward's, the animated one.
Okay.
Do
Ah,
you
okay.
know do you know who created it?
Was it Disney?
No.
Okay. Then no, I don't know who created it.
I give you guys one hint if you want it.
Cliff.
Do you want the
Okay,
hint or not?
sure.
Okay.
Your hint is this is a job for Superman.
Fleischer Brothers?
Oh wow.
Max Fleischer did it, predates it at least 20 years. It was in the 1940s that he did a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer animated. I think it was like a 30 to 40-minute animated short that they ran in Montgomery Wards as kids was waiting to go to Santa Claus, go to see Santa
Oh,
Claus.
they would have it on the screen,
Hmm.
and because that makes sense. You're you got a bunch of kids standing there in line. They're bored, and a lot of them their parents would just leave them in the line and walk off. So
Hmm.
you'd have kids unsupervised and bored out of their minds, and it's like, and so it's like, okay, how do we keep the kids under control, because a bunch of bored angry kids is like, that's just destruction. So yeah, that would make sense. They would have to have
And,
something that could grab their attention and keep them focused until they actually got to see the big guy, and then get
and the
kicked,
other, go ahead. Go ahead and finish.
didn't cry, wet themselves, and get kicked down the chute.
Right.
You shoot your eye out, kid.
All our Christmas story. But here's the interesting fact about that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It was the last animated feature that Max Fleischer did ever in his career. That was
Oh
the
wow,
final film with the
I didn't
Montgomery
know that.
Ward's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Out of all of the Popeyes, the Betty Boops, and the Superman stuff, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was the last animated feature
Hmm.
he did.
Didn't Fleischer work on Coco the Clown as well?
Yeah, but that's considered part of Betty Boop franchise.
Okay, okay,
Coco was
I
part of Betty Boop.
okay, I wasn't quite sure. They came on separately when I was a kid.
Yeah. No,
Coco
they're
would be
still
on, and
two
I
separate
didn't.
cartoons, but Coco, I think Coco was introduced to Boop, and that's the reason why most people lump her with Betty Boop.
Ah, okay. Kind of like the Harvey Toons family of
Right.
cartoons.
Hmm.
You know.
I think it was what I forgot. I think little Audrey introduced Little Dot and Little Lotta and a couple others.
And then Casper, um,
Has Spooky, Wendy,
and the uncles had a
the
few
Ghostly
cartoons
Trio.
of
Yeah,
their own.
right.
Um, was it Baby Huey?
Now, I'm not sure where Baby Huey came from because
I'm not
that's
sure where
from
but he was still part. He was still part of that Harvey Toons family.
right.
He was
But they didn't
later, I
do
think.
other cartoon strips like Hot Stuff and all the other stuff yet.
No, but they. I remember Baby Huey. Um,
Richie Rich was his own thing.
yeah. Um,
He had
I
Sack
can't.
and Sarge.
I can't remember who did Crazy Cat.
Oh, that was a completely different
That was, yeah, that
company
was
at first.
that was old. That was old and crazy, and I
I,
used to
I
love
still
Crazy
I,
Cat.
I still like the cartoon because that was the first cartoon that allowed for anybody to get hit with a brick.
Did you ever see Crazy
I
Cat,
forgot the
Cliff?
name of the mouse, but that was how he always got Crazy Cat to stop loving him. Hit her
Did
with a
you ever
brick.
see Crazy Cat, Cliff?
Yes, and Baby
Okay.
Huey. Yes.
I loved Crazy Cat. I don't know why. There's just something about, that mouse. And that mouse had the best aim of anybody I have ever seen. The
Aim and
only
distance.
and just
Seriously, that's like he could be
hobbits don't
miles
have
away.
hobbits can't aim that well. I mean, and he could pick up the heaviest bricks and just catch her half a mile away and bam, back of the head. And she just kept coming for it. It's like, oh my goodness. You
Um,
knew it was love.
Before I forget, adding to
Mm-hmm.
the list of places you can watch Christmas specials,
Mm-hmm.
there's an app for apparently it's a public television station out of Ontario,
Ooh.
OSI 74. You can watch the old Will Vinton claymation Christmas with the California raisins on it.
Oh
Oh wow.
yes, yes. And their version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is fun. That
Yeah,
that's
so
a
it's
that's a
it's
party train song.
there's a bunch of insanity on that app along next to it, but you can watch that for Christmas and then pretend you don't know where the app is.
But yeah, if your girls might like, your younger girls might like that. And the Frosty one, because it's a jazz piece,
Mm-hmm.
might be a bit more complex. So they're not going to remember more than dumpity dump dump
Uh-huh.
dumpity dump dump. Hey, look at Frosty go da 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 over the hills of snow. Ding ding. Once again, Courtney's looking at me like, can you think of something before, they came after the days when y'all discovered fire? It's like y'all are so old. But I wanted to tell people when I saw that,
Mm-hmm.
because we were talking last week about how so much of the things that we took for granted as part of our childhood were
Mm-hmm.
produced to watch on TV for free, and my kids watch that stuff for free. And we have a whole generation of kids who all that stuff is behind a paywall. So when I saw that today, and I actually watched Hard Rock, Coco and Joe, didn't get time for Susie Snowflake, but I did get to watch Hard Rock, Coco and Joe, and that made me just smile while everybody else in the house was like, "You're just too weird." It's like, please.
No,
My
it's tradition, and they are a tradition.
Well, WGN for a while had, because my youngest I would watch it with him. They had Hard Rock, was it? They had it was like a documentary, and they would
Yeah,
talk
that was
about
Bozo
both.
Gar and Ray. Bozo Gar and
Yeah.
Ray that comes on each and every year about this time. Actually, they played it once already during the
Oh,
Thanksgiving holiday.
I hadn't seen it yet, but they would talk about, the Bozo Circus and Ray Rayner and Garfield Goose, and they would end it with those three.
Or they played it in between. when they
Yeah.
shifted between the three shows, they always played one, and they normally play it like Christmas Eve, but it's like the tradition. Like you had it with Garfield Goose when Garfield Goose stopped. No, Garfield Goose was afternoon.
Yeah, Garfield
When
Goose.
Bozo moved to the Rain Raider spot, that's when they played it in the mornings. I remember Bozo Show used to always play it, Hard Rock, Coco and Joe, and Susie Snowflake and Frosty the Snowman before you went to school in the morning.
Okay, see,
At least in the like the late early 80s.
no, we're okay. Come back. We're getting in the
No,
way
like I
back
said,
into
I
the.
remember Ray Rayner. I remember I'm going back far enough where it's like we agree. It's like I go far enough back with Ray Rayner, but when I was small, Garfield was after.
And then it used to be they were all morning shows way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
They were all morning shows. And Garfield
And
Goose
I
had
remember.
those 3.
Mm-hmm.
And they would play them because it would be, you would get Bozo Circus, you would then get Ray Rayner, and then you would then get Garfield Goose. And Garfield Goose, depending on the weather, would determine whether or not I got to watch all of Garfield Goose before I had to go out the door to
Mm-hmm.
head to school, because if the weather was bad, it was going to take me longer to get to school. So I would leave, my babysitter, Miss Lula, would kick me out the door a little earlier because she'd say, "Child, you got to make sure you can get through all that ice and snow." And I know that adds another 10 minutes to your to your walk. Um, so I wouldn't always catch it, but yeah, that was the thing. And then Family Classics they had Sundays,
Sundays.
and they had a Christmas Carol. They had the British, um I don't think it was British actors, but it was like a 1930s, 40s version of a Christmas Carol, and they played it every year the way NBC plays what's his name today. They played it, I think, I remember at least 20 years of them playing that particular version of a Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
And the way NBC plays It's a Wonderful Life, because it's like that's become their tradition. This was Family Classics tradition, because that was their one Christmas movie that they had. Because they had that one, but WGN, when movies were movies, would play like Holiday Inn, White Christmas, Meet Me in St. Louis, and all of those. So you
I
could
just remember
catch
I remember the cut up versions of Babes in Toyland.
which version, because there is the Laurel and Hardy version.
No, we're not talking about that one.
Okay, because there's
I
that
would
was
say
the first.
Laurel and Hardy if it was Laurel and Hardy. No, we're talking about the other one. They cut a lot of stuff out of the original movie, and that was kind of like one of the things about Family Classics that back in the day, if you haven't never watched those movies and you watched them there, you thought you got the full thing until you go back and see the full theatrical stuff. Like, when was that up in there?
Are you talking the animated version of Babes?
It was
Okay, because
another one
okay,
that did not have
because
Laurel and Hardy up in it. That they kind of cut up a little bit.
Laurel and
They
Hardy was
cut a
the
lot
first
of
version
fight
I
scenes
ever
out
saw.
of it. They cut a lot of fight out of that version of Babes in Toyland.
And then PBS got the rights to the New York Ballet's version of the Nutcracker with Barishnikov as
Which was
the
short lived.
Nutcracker.
It was
Yeah.
short lived. It was short lived because that asking price got too great as Barishnikov got more and more popular.
But for a while, you could see Barishnikov in his dance belt, and I'm just saying there are loads of women who are much happier now.
Mm-hmm.
one of the traditions is the build up to Christmas around here. We just start watching Christmas specials. And last night we watched Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Okay.
And the week before, the girl's grandmother took them to the theater to see A Christmas Carol.
The theater.
And it was really cool because my youngest, it like clicked when she was watching it watching Mickey's Christmas Carol last night. She goes, "Hey, this is like that thing Mama made us go to."
I don't know if you saw our show last week, but you can also find Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol here on YouTube for free.
Yes.
So because I don't know if you saw my rant, but it's really upsetting to me that things that were just part of the zeitgeist are now behind paywalls. And for kids who didn't have a lot of money, this was an entertainment. This was something that was made for us that we could sit and watch and enjoy and then later talk to each other about. And, we would sit and go, hey, you got back to school after New Year's and you would go, okay, did you catch this? And did like kids with baseball trading cards, you would go over what specials you got to see.
Right. Yeah. I think I think it's nonsense that as much money as Apple has, you have to pay to watch Charlie Brown's Christmas on Apple TV.
You can get it on DVD, but you have to go to Dollar Tree or Family Dollar. They have them, but they don't always have them a lot. But you can get them for $10, and it's the actual thing.
As much money as I've given Apple over the last few years, they need to go pull Charles Schultz out of the grave and just have him animated in my living room. I'm just saying.
You may not like that. Schultz, as wonderful as his Peanuts was, Schultz himself was something of a curmudgeon. And so he might do it, but between the snide remarks and whatnot, it might not be an enjoyable experience.
Oh yeah, it would, because when it's over, I'm gonna put him back in the dirt, and I won't have to worry with it.
back in the dirt you go.
Sorry. Hey, that was fun. You going back in the grave.
Before I forget, I wanted to brag on my wife. Hey, baby, can you come here real quick? Come here.
Ooh, come here. Ooh, like you're Dracula or something. Come here.
She gave me yes.
Dazzler.
My wife gave me an early Christmas present that I wanted to share.
Why did I do it?
She gave it to me and she told me right flat out, I'm giving you this early because we ran out of wrapping paper and I'm too tired to try and wrap this thing.
Ooh.
So I got a Starman poster.
Ooh.
By Tony Harris.
Ooh.
It's ginormous.
Yeah.
Yes. And she gave it to me for Christmas last night.
Go, Mrs. Cliff. Go, Mrs. Cliff. Go. Go, Mrs. Cliff. Go, Mrs. Cliff. Go.
Wait, she missed her compliment.
Wife is hot. Show her up.
Yes. Yes. You're getting in the comments. They're telling me that you're hot. They need to show you off. Yes.
Sending hugs, girlfriend.
Yeah. See, this is that thing I was showing you. But yeah, I was going to brag on it before I forgot. Now I have to have somewhere to put it. So.
Okay. I did. At least you didn't have a day where you take your youngest to Marshall so he can get some shopping done because you have a few bucks. And I got I let him pick all the stuff out, and we get to the cashier and I've got the wrong card. And I just had to give it all back. And the look on his face was like, I was going, it's so good he's not armed because I would be so dead right now. like, if you weren't my mommy, I would kick your butt. I felt so embarrassed because, he picks out the best cards. So we went to Marshall. He got a 3D card from my mom. He got a 3D card from my sister, one for my sister. He likes to find these 3D globe cards. You open them up and you put them together and they make like a little globe. And he loves those. He loves to find them and she loves to get them from him. So, he picked out all of those and I just felt so stupid. I felt beyond stupid. And I paid for it later by having to run for the bus. So that, I got punished. but we went to Dollar Tree today and I went to get a wreath for the outside door of our building. And they didn't have any more wreaths, so I had to make one.
Oh.
Which is why I posted those pictures on my Facebook page, because I ended up having to make a wreath. But we found all the pieces and I did it. So I put it out there. And what else did I do? Oh, they're redoing our plumbing in our bathroom. At one point I was getting dressed and my kids are going, "Where are you going?" It's like, I have to go to the bathroom and I got to go to the library because they cut all our water off. Luckily
Here's a question for you folks up north.
Okay.
We've been debating if this is a southern thing or not. When it gets cold, which y'all are used to more than we are, do they tell you to drip your sinks and leave your cabinets open where the pipes don't freeze? Or is that just a southern thing?
No, they used to.
Okay.
When I was a girl growing up, you depending on how old your building was, because those old lead pipes, if you weren't careful, would freeze. So you would keep I think you kept the faucet in that you didn't have to run it, but like you had to have like a steady drip coming in your Facebook faucet, especially us because we lived in a basement apartment. So we would have to let the sink, if it got anywhere below 10 degrees, you would have to let a couple of faucets on so that the pipes wouldn't freeze because if they froze, water expands
and they burst.
So
when they tell us it's going to be 33 degrees outside, they start posting drip warnings all over the state. So I'm like, this has got to be a southern thing, but apparently it's just an old thing. Okay,
it's an old thing, and especially, in fact, my generation learned the word creosote. I lived in a city, but I knew what creosote was because Chicago, this time of year, especially between now and say the beginning of February, fires. Lots of fires because a lot of the grander old buildings, especially on Lakeshore Drive and stuff, had working fireplaces. In fact, a lot of neighborhoods now, they're more affluent buildings. They've closed up the fireplaces because when you burn that wood and you think, oh, it's smoke, it'll go up, it's out. No, it forms creosote within the fireplace. And the British learned this way before we did, which is why they had chimney sweeps. You had to clean that stuff out at the end of every winter and then check it again before the beginning of every winter, because creosote buildup, like a match. And if you lived in a house that was wooden timbered, even if your fireplace was stone, and the reason kids like me knew it because there were articles, there were news reports on TV, and you would see, and it was always the same thing. You would see some fireman and his the old metal helmets they used to wear would be just covered in icicles,
Mm.
and just this look of total, like, as if he just viewed the gates of hell. Because a lot of the fires that used to, they were either in the suburbs, it was fire on the north side, and in the suburbs, in the more affluent areas, you had creosote. Lower income areas, because landlords weren't always running their heaters correctly, you would have to turn on your stoves. A lot of people heated their house by turning their stoves on
Hmm.
to heat their houses. And sometimes if that stove went out, if that flame went out, the whole household could suffocate from gas. That's one of the reasons they
Hmm.
started putting that scent in gas,
Yeah.
because it's not scented, but they started putting the scent in there because that way, if you smelled it, you knew that your pilot light had gone out. And if your pilot light went out, then because of the way those old ovens and stuff were made, your stovetop
Hmm.
would go out. And
Right.
then you'd have that gas build up and people would die. So firemen hated the winter here because loss of life between fires, and then whole buildings where people just suffocated to death, or worse, somebody left something on the stove and forgot about it. So, you know, things are just going up. No, actually, that was an old myth, Leia, and it was meant to, because people forget the Irish, Italians, and stuff didn't become white, especially not here in Chicago, until after World War II. And you had a bunch of Irish. You also had a bunch of Ukrainians and stuff in the very now affluent area known as Wicker Park, places like Humboldt Park and stuff. You had a lot of different. You had Eastern Europeans, you had Irish and stuff. They kept animals. Bucktown is called Bucktown because a lot of people kept goats, because you could milk your goat and whatnot, and that was sort of things they brought from the old country. But considering where they say the fire started, there was no Mrs. O'Leary with a call. They needed something to say other than what probably really happened, and it was easier to pin it on the Irish than it was to say that some greedy factory owner didn't keep his stuff up the way it was supposed to, and kablooey, and next thing you know, it took the city with it.
Well, no, actually, according to the Superboy comic I bought, it was Crypto who got turned into a cow by red kryptonite that started the fire.
That could actually happen. I mean,
Oh,
who would have thought he would have turned into a llama and saved the earth?
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
crypto turned into a llama and saved the earth.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness. I saw a commercial for the new Supergirl, and I'm not feeling it.
That's
Well,
mainly because you
I'm
probably
not
haven't
feeling it.
read the part of or the series that they lifted the majority of that story from.
No, I
It's not
probably
the
have.
it's not the actual story, but they lifted a lot of stuff from it.
yes,
I'm
written by Tom King.
okay. Well, I saw it, and it's like, oh, okay. You taking that, you're gonna take that stance, fine. I grew up loving Supergirl. I grew up loving what she stood for. The weight she carried as a heroine that she never buckled under. That was part of what made our heroes heroes. Yes, Marvel heroes had their angst, but they also knew that they were fighting for something worthwhile. Too many superheroes today, you sit there and look at them and go, why are you bothering? because I don't see it. You know, there's very little difference between you and the bad guy, really. And some of those movies, it's like, I'll pick the bad guy. Because if you're what's gonna save us, I'll stick with the bad guy. But you know, but it's generational. That's just me at my,
No,
you
it's not.
know.
It's not. You want to know why I know it's not you? Because everything that you just said reminded me about what Darwin Cook said about New Frontier.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We got to the point in comic where everything has to be edgy, everything has to be dark, everything has to be brooding. Where is the whimsy now? Where is, the we're going to inspire to be better? Where are the heroes actually smiling now and people are happy that they are there and not look at, something for them to be looked at a negative light in a jaded aspect of. Dark said that after he wrote New Frontier. One of the reasons why a lot of characters were portrayed more like how they were in the golden age, a lot more friendly. There was a little bit more whimsy. Characters was able to let their hair down a little bit more in the
And
story as opposed to how they're being written now.
and they stood on the side they stood because they believed in what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays it's kind of like, I got nothing better to do, so I guess I'll just go do this. And you kind of go, why are you bothering? um
Mm-hmm.
I just
And
watched, yes, spoiler alert, I just watched the latest episode of Mighty Nine. And for the first portion of this season, you see them come together in a situation where they're kind of thrown together by circumstance. And then in this episode, spoiler, they make the choice to be together because they realize individually they do better together than they do on their own. And they realize they've kind of, circumstances thrown them into a situation, and they can either try and go and hide somewhere and hope that this thing won't find them, or maybe they can try because they know stuff that other people don't know, and they can have connections other people don't have, and they have abilities, then maybe they should be the ones to think about getting up and standing up and doing the right thing. So it's at first it's like, okay, circumstance, you're doing this because circumstances put you in this situation, and so you're doing this because you kind of got thrown into the situation, a mistake you made it worse, or you're trying not to get dead. And then you get to the point where you're like, okay, all of that is over, we can go away. And then you realize, no, we're better together.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just trying to find a boat hole we can hide out in and hopefully survive all this, we're going to make the active choice to move forward and have some agency within this situation. And I liked that. I like it when the heroes get up, and as Not the Brave put it, we gonna be mofo heroes. It's like, thank you. Thank you. Um, Make that choice. I don't care about the language. At least you're making a choice to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not because, well, I ain't got nothing better to do right now.
Well, that's the problem with the Supergirl movie. After I found out, I felt that way, and to me, it's the wrong way to write a character that suffer from PSTD. It's the wrong way to write them.
I kind of get, like I said, I'm watching it and it's like, okay, I'm looking at every angry teenage girl trope out there as if it was written by a guy who doesn't really understand women. Got
That's
it.
the thing. She's not a teenager in this movie.
Oh, okay. And
She's actually in her 20s in this movie, and that's what makes it so it makes it kind of off-putting because she's doing a lot of tropey, you know, 20, 21-year-old type stuff, getting drunk and everything, coming off as if she's a party girl. But at the
With
same
that
time, it's like
attitude.
she's suffering from PSTD because they actually delve into what happened to her back on Krypton.
I saw that, and it's like, okay, I get it. Life sucked, but your parents saved you. They knew where they were was going to hit. Spoilers, okay? They knew where they were. That part of Krypton that was out there was not going to survive. And just like with Kal-El's parents, they knew they couldn't save everyone. They could save their baby, and they chose to save her. They could have just, they could have all just died together. But it's like, if there's a chance of you having something out there, we want you to have it. They did the best they could do. And I don't know. I just, like I said, I'm watching this going,
Yeah.
okay, it's got to be generational, because I'm sitting here going, I want to just get up and go, wake the hell up.
No,
It's like, okay.
see, yeah, it's definitely generational, because we would have been like, eventually some of the stuff you're going to be like, get over it, get over it. But you have
Get
to
over
understand,
it.
these kids nowadays will not get the understanding. It's like,
Well,
I
not
had
just
to
get
bury
over
my
it, but
mother, my father, and most of the people in that city before
but it's like, go.
that city got completely destroyed. I buried the majority of the people I cared about.
And on the one hand, yeah, I get that, but it's like, sweetie, we have this thing on Earth called psychotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
You should seek it out. And then there is she makes the thing that Clark sees the best in everyone, and I see the world for as it is. And
I
it's
see the
like,
truth. I see the truth. I
yeah,
see how it. That's like,
it's like, no,
yeah.
sweetie, you're looking through a glass darkly. You're not looking at you're looking through this glass very darkly, and it's colored by all this stuff that you haven't dealt with, that you don't even want to acknowledge. Um, and that's what's occluding your vision. So I am sorry, but at some point, it's not like they did this to hurt you. They were trying to ensure your survival. And she just took it, she takes it as if this was set up as some grand punishment by God or something. And you kind of like, okay, I need to get you, you need some serious drugs and about 35 years of psychotherapy before you should be out and around, the public at large. Go sit in the fortress of solitude, read a book.
The problem with that for me, aside from the fact that, again, generational thing, Supergirl that I read was more hope inspiring than Superman.
It was one of the
Because
things I loved
she,
about her. It was one of the things I loved about Storm. It was back in the day, the female heroes, among, if nothing else, they were hopeful. It
Supergirl
was like,
died in the comics fighting the Anti-Monitor and inspired all the rest of the heroes to keep the fight going, including Clark. So she's always been more hopeful than Superman. But also, you can fly and shoot lasers out of your face. Quit being fucking sad.
well, I'm not saying don't be sad, but it's like,
I am.
you need to learn to deal with, you know, go, like I said, go get some therapy. As somebody who had to go get some therapy, go get some damn therapy. Find someone. You don't have to name it, especially if you don't want somebody to know that you're Supergirl. But you can say, my parents, there was an accident where I grew up. I'm the only survivor. You know, my parents did this thing to get me out. I survived. no one else in my city, my parents or none of those people survived, and I was left to clean up the mess.
Isn't there a don't they have the DC equivalent of Doc Samson from Marvel? They have a psychiatrist for the superheroes.
Something like that, yes. But even said, I get what Elaine is saying, because when I look at how Superman family is being written now, I look at what Kara's going through, like, okay, tough up, grow up, yada yada yada, as opposed to what Power Girl is going through, right? Figure out everything that she knows, is it real or is it Memorex?
See, I was
And
called Power Girl,
people don't realize.
Super McBubble Tits, because that's how they drew her.
Well, that's the way that they drew her, but essentially they're both the same character.
It
One is not of a test tube. The other one is the actual being. So the actual being, yeah, she got PSTD, she has all this other stuff, but Power Girl is like, I don't know who to trust, and I can't trust my memories because of the simple fact that I don't know if they're real or not in this newer incarnation of
okay.
Power Girl. And I'm
Okay, I
like,
was about to say that's not the incarnation of Power Girl I
we grew
remember.
up with, that you, I, and Cliff grew up with, but this current incarnation, there's nothing that she can trust, and she is very phobic of being close to anything dealing with, if I could say, suspended animation now, because
Okay.
she doesn't trust it anymore, because she thought one way, but she found out that a lot of that you were implanted into her as a memory. She doesn't know what is real and what is fake. Even when it comes to people, she's up here. It's like, am I actually living and seeing this person, actually touching this person, or am I still in this scene that they had me in suspended animation, making me think that I have lived X, Y, and Z years?
But
To
you
me,
know, one
that's more traumatizing than, okay, I buried my mom and dad, I buried the city that I came from, this, that, and the other. Woe is me. It's like, she has no idea who she is. You know who you are.
you know who you are, you know where you came from, you have some sense of history and
Mhm.
understanding of the society and what it means, and the fact that every day you're alive, you're keeping that alive, you're keeping that bit of krypton alive, because unlike Clark, Kal-El, he doesn't have any of that. He was a baby. He didn't know what that was like. It's just, things that he's being shown. He didn't live it. And there's a difference between the actual lived experience and just being shown something. Um, like I said, but I guess maybe that's one of the trouble I have sometimes with some of the newer heroes and newer iterations of heroes. When I was a girl, the whole point of these books was to help inspire you, to help um, you consider of taking the higher road, making the harder choice, choosing to do the better thing. You know, nowadays I don't know, I see some stuff in comics nowadays and I look at it and it's like, okay. Yeah. Like I said, you just kind of want to go, why? Why are you bothering? Because you hate everybody, you hate everything, you know. But you think it'd be fun, at least, as you can go beat folks up and get away with it. It to me, it's just like I said, I know it partly generational, and maybe I'm just too hopeful an individual. I like the idea of having, even in a horror movie back in the day, there was a sense of hope. You came out the other end with at least of, holy crap, we survived that. Yes, and you can see people were like, oh. We survived the vampires, the zombies, the werewolves, or whatever. Let's go forward and maybe have a little better idea of who we need to be. you know,
Speaking of that, I got caught up on It Welcome to Derry on
I
HBO Max.
haven't watched it yet. I have not watched it yet.
Man, aside from the fact that we since it's set before the movie, you know
Hmm.
how it's going to end. There is no hope on this damn movie
Okay,
or
then
this
I'm not
damn
going to
show.
bother.
I mean, it's like all y'all are going to die. There's nothing about it. They're just dead.
But and to me, what people aren't getting is one of the things that made Stranger Things the hit it is there is a sense of hope. This woman, when everybody kept telling her, give up, your boy is lost, she never gave up. She always had, she held on to the hope that she was going to get her kid back. She was going to find her boy. She did. She was, they were saying, you need to move on, let it go. And she was like, no, he's not dead. Something in her told her, my baby ain't dead. I just got to figure out how to find him. And when you think about Stranger Things, yes, it's dark, crazy times, but with the dark craziness, there is that hope that runs through the show. You see it in 11 when she and the sheriff have, they form that father and daughter bond. You see these kids, even with the older kids who are kind of buttheads, realizing, oh, great, this is real danger. And instead of running away, yeah, it sucks to be y'all, they rise to the occasion. They do what they can when they realize what's at stake, that it's not just them and that they have a choice. They can run, they can try to get as far as they can, or they can stand up. They choose to stand up. Even the ones that you don't like that much, get up and say, I'm going to stand up.
Mm-hmm.
It's what helps make that show worth watching. Rogue
That's
One.
Rogue One is another good example of exactly that. But I also lost my train of thought here as far as
Sorry.
everything that we were talking about. It's like we're talking about the aspect of hope, but that's the thing. It's like movies nowadays are being so people want to see grit and gritty. It's
And
not
it's the
necessarily.
hope, and there's a hopelessness to it, and it's like, and there's that point where I sit there and watch it, and it's like, okay, and I watch something and go, okay, you know what, I'm done. I'm just, y'all are all, you're sitting at, the world is falling apart and you're busy sitting in your pity party.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go sit in your pity party and die. I think I got better things to do than watch
I'll
this
openly
movie.
admit I did not want to go see Rogue One in theaters because I was like, I know how this ends. I don't want to see it. But they did such a good job with that movie. I was sad when everybody started dying. And I
Oh,
knew that's
my
what's going to
heart,
happen.
I knew it. I watched the
When they start
original
getting wiped out
Star
one by
Wars.
one, you felt for every last member of that team because they did their part to make certain things happen.
And they had the choice of, okay, we can all go, we weren't the most stellar of people, but there is that point of which, okay, you can either find bolt holes to hide in, hope they won't find you, or they'll just figure you're not worth it, or you can stand up and make a difference. And all those
Mm-hmm.
people, misfits, yes, but they all had the thing of, we're going to stand up and make a difference. And yeah, because I saw that, that point where she says Minnie Bothans died to get
Mm-hmm.
us this information, because they were known as the Bothan spies
Mm-hmm.
at that point in the movie. But they're not going to make it, but it's not death. They're not dying. We're not seeing death for the sake of seeing death. There is a reason, and the outcome mattered. What they did mattered. And they did it because they kind of knew they may not make it, but they felt enough about what they were doing, having come through what they came through individually and as a group, to say, okay, we have a choice: hide or get off our asses and do something, do what we can do. And that's the choice they made. And I love that movie because of that.
It got beyond that, because the majority of that team was literally in the catch-22 scenario. They were going to die if they did it, or they were going to die if they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew that.
I can't.
Someone was facing tribunals, others was facing executions by wherever planet that they were from. It was like it was a no-win situation, and because they chose to go on this mission, it was like, you know what, we're going to set things right.
Well, it's also
We're going
like
to set things
the
right,
monk.
and that's where they looked at it.
It was also like the monk and the guy protecting him.
Mm-hmm.
They could have just stayed where they were.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. It wasn't a great life, but they were alive. But
Mm-hmm.
it was like, I keep forgetting the movie it comes from, but there's a, we can choose to die on our knees or choose standing on our feet. And I'm standing on my feet. And I love the fact that you see each of them, especially Andor, they have to make that decision. I'm either going to hide out and die on my knees, or I'm going to stand on my feet. I'll probably die sooner, but it won't be in vain. These deaths will matter. They will move forward. Even if we're not the ones moving forward, we are pushing something forward that cannot be stopped. And, it's, I guess maybe because as a Black woman, growing up in America, growing up in Chicago, I come from people who that's what they had to do. They had to, at a point when, they had to say, I'm either going to die on my knees or I'm going to get the hell up and move forward. So, oh, look, there's my baby.
But
Hey, baby.
talking about Stranger Things, just real quick,
Mm-hmm.
we were going to go watch the finale in movie theaters on New Year's Day. There was only one theater, like within 300 miles of us, that was showing it, and I got tickets at 9:50 p.m.
No. How are you
And
Talk about an
my
overnight
daughter,
experience.
my middle daughter has laid out all of our costumes, because apparently we're all going as characters from the show.
Oh,
Like, yeah, and of course, she's gonna be Eddie from season 4. But we were getting caught up. We watched the first part of season 5 and waiting for the next to drop. But my wife and I were watching it, and we made the comment, and y'all are older, y'all will get it like I did, as opposed to my kids. But they have done a very, very good job on that show of reminding us just how incredibly ugly we all were in the 80s. Our clothes, our hair.
Wait, no, we were not. Some of us were pretty cute.
I look at my wife and I said,
But then again, we had the
we were this ugly back
1983
then?
White Sox that their slogan was "Winning Ugly." So,
Yes, winning ugly.
I looked dead at my wife and I said, "Did we know we were this ugly back then?" I mean, it's bad. But they've done a good job of reminding me, and I'm like, man, I know fashions and cycles, but please, God, no.
trust me, I still would rather have my members only jacket now from back then, because that would be worth some money.
Charles, when he was, this was 90s. A friend got Charles a jacket. It was like the Michael Jackson Thriller, the red Thriller jacket with the. Yeah, he got a cheaper version of that. He wore that jacket to death. That was his jacket. I hated. I thought it was the ugliest out, but it was like, okay, but he my baby. He look cute.
Come on, you can't tell me that the Devo hat you didn't go around wearing the Devo hat back in the day.
I didn't.
No, I'm talking about Cliff. I'm talking about Cliff. You can't tell me.
I didn't say I didn't. I just said looking back on it, we were ugly.
But Jordache jeans.
That doesn't mean nothing.
And then you look. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know it's. I shouldn't be this superficial, but I look at all those kids on that show. I'm just like, damn. It's okay. Y'all get the hell beat out of you. It doesn't improve your looks at all. And the Will and 11, both in love and fighting over Mike. I'm like, honey, y'all need LASIK. This Jesus.
Oh, that's just so mean.
Well, should
That is
I
just
tell
mean.
the thing that should make Elaine happy right now?
That's right. You said you had something to bring to my
Oh,
attention.
before I forget, there's no rush. If we don't have time, it's fine. But I had 2 books I was gonna
No,
mention before time was over.
we got time for it because this is going to be very, very short. We're going to be very, very short because I'm not going to cover the 1.5 seasons of it that I watched so far. I got
have
two
you?
more. I only got 2 more episodes to watch here. But
Are
I
you
finally
watching
got a chance to sit
Vox
down and
Machina?
watch Wednesday.
Hercules.
Only thing I gotta say here is I had some convulsions dealing with Catherine Zeta-Jones being Morticia.
Her first season as Morticia, she's really you kind of get the feeling she's sleepwalking through it, and my attitude was not my Morticia. But that's also because, Carolyn Monroe made Morticia hers. And then Angelica Houston, without
Made it.
spitting on Carolyn Monroe's legacy, made Morticia hers. Now, in the later season of Wednesday, Catherine Zeta Jones does succeed a bit in making Morticia kind of hers.
I
She
give you
starts
the
bringing
word
things
kinda.
kind of hers, but it's like, okay, I want to see the next season because I think in part because you know she's still. I think in the first one, Morticia was so secondary. The focus was on Wednesday, and then they have now expanded the focus so that it's not just Wednesday, it's Gomez, it's Morticia, it's Pugsley. They've expanded.
And Fester.
We even got and Fester. Oh my God. Fred Armisen owns
He
and
knocked
I
that out. He knocked Fester out of the park. He did
and,
knock Fester out of the park.
and I will say he's one of those actors who, just like what's his name did, they made Fester theirs without spitting on what came before.
Oh, you're talking about what's his name? Dr. Emmett Brown. I can't even think. Judge Doom.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd.
Lloyd.
Yeah, and he's even
Lloyd,
in here as a professor.
yes,
He's even
he's
in Wednesday
in
as a
there as
professor.
a professor, but he in the movies he was the cinematic Fester. And he was able to make Fester his without spitting on Coogan's Fester.
Mhm.
That it was like, that was the thing I loved about what each of those people did. They were able to carve their version of those characters, because sometimes you'll see somebody come into a role that someone else has played, and it's like, okay, I got to crap on everything this person did for this role in order to make this role mine. And it's like, yeah, that's your first mistake, and you just told me I don't need to watch you. And that's why I think people love the movies, because they don't crap on the TV series. Those of us who grew up with the TV series can love the movies because you don't feel like, oh, Raul Julia is just crapping all over John Aston. And it's not. They've made that world theirs while respecting what came before. Um,
Now, there's a couple of things history wise that I didn't like, but right now I'm still cringing at Catherine Zeta-Jones, not because of her rendition of it. It's just certain aspect of Morticia that's not coming out through her,
the
especially through the interaction with Grandmama.
I think
It's like
what it
I'm
is
up here just cringing. It's like y'all are not
because
supposed to. Y'all have never truly been at odds with one another like this.
we've
This is
never
some
seen
bullshit.
we've never seen Morticia and Grandmama at each other's throat, where
Mm-hmm.
it was a knives out situation, and that bothered me. I was not very happy with her and her mother having, and I get on the one hand, okay, you're trying to make it more for this generation, but at the same time, one of the things we loved about the Adams family growing up was they were just like the Munsters. They were a family. They were close knit. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't just walk your butt into the Adams. The one person, and only Joan Cusack could have walked into the Adams family and stolen Fester, and then only
Mm-hmm.
to have the baby just, dust. And they're like, oh well. But I just, it's they have kind of and I get it. They're trying to make it's supposed to make Wednesday come out of being a child. She's in that weird stage between not quite a child but not quite an adult either. And she's in that middle position. Um and they're trying to establish her as her own character. But yeah, I wasn't happy with that. And now seeing the end, that last episode, and I'm not going to spoil it, that has upset me because
See, I'll probably be
while,
angry. I'll probably be angry at the end of the season. Really angry.
yeah, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but oh, I'm sorry. I will say I'm sorry. My
No,
heart,
it's nothing
my
to be
heart
sorry about.
it was a oh my goodness, and it was like oh man, and then oh man, you know it was definitely not a grandmama move at that end,
But
and that
Grandmama said
broke my
something
heart.
in the beginning that made so much sense, and it stuck with me. And I believe she's right. And a lot of this animosity and this discourse amongst the women is dealing with the sister that nobody really talked about. And when they talked about the
Ophelia.
sister, I'm like, wait a second, y'all going back to the comic strips with this.
Well, no, the series also had Ophelia was in the series because when they did the series, they actually did a series of flashback episode where it was made out that Gomez was originally intended to marry Ophelia. And then he
Mhm.
met um he oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I'm tired. He was supposed to marry Ophelia. He then met the other sister.
He met
Morticia.
He met
Morticia.
Morticia, and he and Morticia, it was this sort of immediate like bang zoom thing. And so when we see Ophelia show up, it's kind of why she's always attacking Gomez, judo throwing him and stuff, because there's that sort of anger in Ophelia because she has always felt that Gomez should have been hers. And that's also why they play it so the Morticia, she's not as in your face about quit throwing my husband around like he's your rag doll, because I think they were subtly playing that sense of guilt on Morticia because she knew they were making the arrangements for him to marry Ophelia, but then
Mhm.
he and Morticia fell in love. And I think as much as Morticia loves Gomez, there's also that sense of guilt about the fact of, because they always played Ophelia for the longest time. Eventually, they let her meet somebody and fall in love. But, you know, when she would show up, it was
Well,
always like she was alone, she was by herself. You know, she just couldn't, after Gomez, she couldn't find anybody.
well,
So,
that's not the way that they went in this series with this, but it kind of fits into that almost that same mode about whatever happened to her. Because
you find out what happened to Ophelia in the last
Morticia is like
episode.
it's like you sent her away, you made her crazy. It's like grandmama. It's like grandma. I believe what grandmama said more so than anything else. Each
Don't.
one of them, Morticia, Ophelia, and now Wednesday, have to find their own path on their own terms. Grandmama is like, I'm not going to stand in the way of anybody finding it on their own terms.
Don't
However,
believe grandmama.
huh?
Don't believe
Oh,
grandmama.
put it this way: we got past the. I forgot the name of the place here. We got past that.
Oh, and
Let's
Joanna
just say,
Lumley.
old boy finally found his mom.
Joanna
And
Lumley, who plays grandmama, is from the
she's
British
perfect
series
for the role.
Absolutely Fabulous. She was
She's
in Ab
perfect
Fab.
for this role. She's not the same television grandmama,
Oh, no,
but
no, no.
as far
She's
as how she
very,
tells history and everything, like grandmama from the television series used to do, she's spot on. Oh,
yeah,
she is spot on. But she is.
We haven't gotten to where she shows up yet.
It gave me the feels of Meryl Streep in the Devil Wears Prada type level of
very.
fab that
If
she's
you
giving off.
look up Absolutely Fabulous, Joanna Lumley, you can see where her mama front comes from. Because when you see Joanna Lumley and Absolutely Fabulous, you'll go, oh, dang. Oh, dang. But also, it is 8:14. It's time for Cliff.
Huh?
Yes. Yes, it's your
Oh,
turn. Your turn.
oh, okay.
Book review.
Yeah,
Book review. Book review.
I didn't like I haven't liked season 2 of Wednesday as much as I like season 1, so we haven't made it very far in it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I got 2 books here.
Ooh.
I was only going to go with one, but then this other one I'd gotten caught my eye, and I figured I needed to talk about something nice instead of being evil the whole time.
Oh,
So
okay.
the first one I'm going to talk about is for Joe, who ran away.
No,
You can't
you
make
talking
me
about DCKO. I'm listening.
evil.
No,
From
I hear you. You talking about DCKO.
from the pages of DC's KO, we have Batman Night Fight.
Okay.
Because see, there's a bunch of spinoffs from the main DC KO title, and I haven't picked up
Mhm.
my latest box yet, so I haven't gotten the new KO. But in Night Fight, in the first issue of DC KO, where they didn't have to explain why Batman doesn't win the tournament, he gets quote unquote
Mhm.
killed, taken out of the tournament. But what you find out in Night Fight, let's see, he's you said they show the Joker stabbing him through his bat armor,
Oh.
and then he becomes a statue with the other defeated people in the tournament. And it's funny because in the other people he's standing next to is Ambush Bug as a statue, Black Canary as a statue, the Jaime
Whoa, Black
Reyes,
Canary lost that early?
yes, the
Oh,
Jaime
okay.
Reyes,
I feel
Blue
cheated.
Beetle. Hey, look, I could be wrong, and this is not Black Canary, but it's a leather jacket, fishnets, and she's got a big bird on her chest. So I'm pretty sure that's Black Canary.
That's Black Canary.
Um, and then for
Not
some
Black
reason, in
Canary.
amongst all of these other, I'm sorry, not on the same level heroes, is the Billy Bats and Captain Marvel has already lost the tournament.
What?
Yeah. So
See the problem with that. Because technically Billy is pretty immortal and invulnerable.
mhm.
Yeah.
but because it's Batman, he's not staying a statue. He
But then again, you have another fight that doesn't make any sense that happened in KO anyway. which was Harley Quinn versus Zatanna.
Or Cyborg
That does
versus
not
Swamp
make any
Thing.
sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm
In
like,
That fight does not make any
oh,
sense.
In Titans 30, it's Cyborg versus Swamp Thing, and I'm like, this is not a fight.
no.
I'm sorry. I
Wait,
love me
wait.
some Dick Stone.
How is he going to survive? How is he going to survive?
Like,
How is Cyborg going to survive?
I don't know. I love me some Victor Stone.
Unless
I'm not
he
gonna
is
say I don't,
completely
but
100% mother box, how is he going to survive? I'm sorry.
I adore Victor Stone. I love his story and everything. I just keep thinking, I just he wouldn't pick a fight. His brain would say, "Don't mess with Swamp Thing."
yes, but yeah,
His,
I haven't
his
read it
brain
yet,
would
but I
say,
know that's happened.
don't be messing with Swamp Thing." Because if nothing else, part of him is still black, and black folks run from the spooky.
Mhm.
We avoid the spooky ooky at every opportunity, because you never know when you might get something on you and you lost.
That's right. So, but
Well, that's
since
the
this is
thing. We
Batman,
don't deal
he's
with
not
the
dead and he's
occult.
not a
We
statue.
don't deal with the occult very well.
He
Well, some of us don't deal with the hoodoo unless you go to New Orleans. Anyway,
but
Cliff, sorry.
but Batman survives being a statue because he's Batman. His armor that he wore for the tournament had a built-in boom tube that if he was inactive for too long would send him back to Gotham City. Because of course it did. But in
I'm
typical
Batman.
Say
superhero
so.
in typical superhero story fashion, he went to the wrong Gotham City.
Wait, he got to the wrong Gotham City.
Yes,
Did he go
we'll
to
get
the
there.
Toontown version of Gotham City?
We will get there. But at the very beginning, before he gets unstatued, there's a little flashback to before the tournament where he's going to go fight Professor Pig. But by the time he arrives, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, Damian, and Dick Grayson have already taken care of the problem. And he's in Batman's internal dialogue is he's like, if they're here, does Gotham still need me? And then you skip ahead to where he got he got boom tubed out of his statue, and the Gotham City he's in um, is protected by a bunch of Robins he's never seen before. One of them looks like Green Arrow with a sword for some reason.
Okay.
Um, and they're leading him somewhere. He doesn't know where he's going, but he gets to where they're trying to lead him to, and the Robins disappear, and this Gotham City's Batman shows up. Dick Grayson has taken the mantle of the Bat.
Okay.
And he says, I warned you, Bruce, if you returned, it would be war. And so they get into a fight because of course they do. And you find out that the Gotham City that Batman landed in, their Bruce Wayne had a midlife crisis. He couldn't deal with getting old. So he went and jumped his ass
He became a criminal.
in the Lazarus pit
Oh shit.
and went a
Sorry.
little cuckoo.
It sounds like he went a lot cuckoo.
Yeah. So
No. What it sounds like to me, it's like, oh, so the Bruce Wayne from Batman Beyond smartened up, went to the Lazarus pit, and became the absolute curmudgeon that he wanted to be, and decided to take. I was like, I'm going to take my mantle back from everybody.
yes. And Dick goes into his giant exposition about how after Bruce was run out of Gotham, Dick created the Bat Tower, which I absolutely love because it's a throwback to Wayne Tower from the '80s, where he lived in here, and there was a big ass tree.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a whale's butt.
Yes, and he created the instead of Batman Inc., it's Robin Inc., and he's like farmed out Robins to all the world, and they're all being trained by his Teen Titan buddies.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah,
no. So he's got
So
the
I
Robin
wonder
franchise.
I guess I wonder who gets lucky enough to be trained by Starfire.
exactly. But And so our Bruce Wayne is he's like, what about the tournament? What about Darkseid? And Dick's just like, you have completely lost it. What are you talking about? Because this is a different Earth. They don't know. And so,
Oh,
of
okay.
course,
They have no idea.
yes. So, of course, this leads to what every superhero comic leads to. It's a fight.
I don't know what you're talking about. You ain't my dad. You ain't my real dad.
That's what drove me crazy about the first Secret World Wars. Somebody would show up. The X-Men get bopped into this world. Somebody who doesn't know who the X-Men are. Personally, it's like, those aren't us. We have to fight them. Instead of coming over and saying, hey, we're the Fantastic Four or we're the Avengers, how are you doing? It's like, huh, you ain't us. We shall kick your behind. And it's like,
yes.
Oh, goodness gracious.
So then we get into the whole fight. We've got Dick Grayson Batman versus not a statue Batman. And
not a statue. Not a statue.
And
That's
of
like
course,
saying,
as
not a butthead Batman.
and of course, as they're fighting, we get Bruce Wayne's internal dialogue. I never want to fight my family, ever. Even now, I'm in awe of him. His moves, how he moves. Always focus on fighting fast and hard. It takes thought behind every move. But Dick is fluid, graceful. Muscle memory makes his moves effortless. Dick was born for this.
Is
And
he
they keep
about
fighting.
to get up and ask Dick on a date?
Well,
I thought he just busted a load.
Well, back in the
was
day,
like, any minute he's gonna be saying, "Yo, Dick, I'm not your Batman, so baby."
back in the day, we had to have Aunt Harriet and Batwoman show up to ungay them. So,
that's true.
um, and he's fighting. They fight, and let's see, Dick gets the upper hand because he's Dick Grayson, and and he goes, "Listen to me, really listen, or I'll throw you in Arkham and lose the key. This is the end, Bruce. You're not Batman anymore. You did it. Gotham doesn't need you. You can stop obsessing now." And while all this is going on, we got Bruce's internal dialogue about, I held back. I didn't want to hurt him. Maybe Dick is right. My time is up. And I about threw this book through the wall. Look, I understand these are written by comic fans for comic fans. And a lot of them are younger than me. So they come from a generation where Batman always wins.
Yeah.
And they also are a generation of people who have never been in a real fight before.
That's true.
Yeah, because it's like I always wonder when I see these guys coming up with fight scenes these days. It's like, sweetie, I have a feeling that if somebody actually walked up and smacked you across the head, it would take you a week just to come out of the coma.
I do not care what anyone says. In a fight between a prime Bruce Wayne and in his prime Dick Grayson will dog walk him 9 out of 10 times because
Okay.
Dick was a born athlete. He is more athletic, he is smarter, and he's a better strategist. Then when you add into it the training, this is coming from a guy who was 130 pounds when he fought. The better athlete usually ends up winning if everything else is equal.
Yeah.
Dick would dog walk him. So this whole thing about, I held back, I about pulled my head off.
I was like, yeah, you
can't
probably
deal with
held back in cheating.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I'm going to call a spade a spade. What is Batman known for? Batman is known for preparation. He manipulates every variable, which means that he cheats.
Yeah.
He does not know how to fight a fair fight.
Mm-hmm.
Dick Grayson, on the other hand, fights a fair fight.
Yes.
Again, how long has he been the quote unquote crime fighter of Bloodhaven, which was way more dangerous than Gotham ever was?
Yes. Yeah. And it's a matter of, they openly always talk about, even back when the new Teen Titan days, Dick is a better athlete. Dick is more, because of he's more caring and more trusting. He's a better leader. All of these attributes that make him a better Batman. But he's also better than all of the other Robins. I don't give a damn about Damian Wayne was trained from birth by Ra's al Ghul, blah blah blah. He's 10 years old. I will put him in my pocket and go home.
He's also arrogant as all get out.
Yes. So this whole
You
idea
know,
that Bruce is holding back is why he lost drives me crazy. But they keep battling, and then the final page reveal, because Bruce says, what did he say? Uh, if you're Batman, where's Jason, Tim, and Damian? Where are your brothers? And Dick finally's had enough of this and grabs him and says, "Don't you remember? They're not here because you killed them." And there's big statues of Dick, of Tim, and all of them. So
oh,
whatever happened,
dang.
You don't
so what?
remember? You killed. That's like, wait, he killed his own flesh and blood in Damien. Yeah,
Yes.
that's funny.
So
That's a comedy.
whatever
It went from being serious to a comedy.
So whatever midlife crisis Bruce and this Gotham did, after he got in the Lazarus pit, he killed the other Robins, which I'm okay with. I like Tim Drake, but we don't need all of them. So that was Night Fight 104. So there's
Okay.
3 more of these damn
Wait,
things.
wait. So he killed Stephanie Brown and Carrie Kelly.
Oh, that's right, because we do get female Robin.
We have 2 female Robins.
So apparently
For the longest time, the closest we had
But
to a
notice,
female Robin
he
was
did.
Batgirl.
He didn't say your brothers and sisters. He always said your brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was about to
Well,
say for my generation, the closest we got to a female Robin was Batgirl.
Yeah, that was Barbara.
actually,
That was Barbara. So
Where's Carrie
okay,
Kelly and
so
Brown?
well, see, here it is where he's talking about how he created Robin Inc. and he's got the Titans training them. He says, uh, now Robin Inc. has Robins in every major city in the world. It's run by Babs, Cass, Duke, and Steph. So we know they're still alive.
okay, so Barbara's still alive and she's helping him manage the Robins to help provide safety in the world.
Yeah, she's apparently helping to outsource the Robins. But yeah, so apparently it's only the other 3 main Robins that are dead.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Night Fight. And I love Joshua Williamson who wrote it. And Dan Mora did pretty good on the art, but I don't know if I can handle 3 more issues of this.
Okay. Well,
I hear back.
This might be the only one. Might be the only one. I did it for you, Joe, where you don't have to read it. But
see, Joe, you just got your Christmas miracle.
No, I still have to read because they're on my pull list for DCKO. The Wonder Woman stuff is still on my pull list.
And now I was about to go into Dazzling Dora's song just for you. Oh well. What's the next book, Cliff?
On a happier note, I picked this up and I wanted to talk about it because it would make me feel better after Night Fight. But also, this is one of my favorite, really obscure DC characters, and I'm so glad he got a little, even if it's a Black Label book, he got a little spotlight for a little while, and that would be Resurrection Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is a Resurrection Man Quantum Karma. It's written by Ram V or Ram 5. I don't know which one it is, if it's the letter or the numeral. And the art is by Butch Geis and Anod RK, who I'm not familiar with. But for those of you who don't know, Resurrection Man was a series that was started late 90s, early 2000s
That's why I
by
don't know him.
the dynamic team of Abbott and Landing, who
as
most
a
people know
what's
from
it
their
called, a Vertigo book.
Okay.
yeah. It was set in the main DC universe. It wasn't a Vertigo. But Resurrection Man, Mitch Shelley, he's a dude that every time he dies, he comes back to life with a different superpower.
Wow. Okay.
And
That's gotta be fun.
in the book, in the series, originally you believe that it's due to these things called techites, and there's some form of nanorobot that's in his bloodstream. But they kind of muddle that a little bit, because as the series goes on, you find out that he actually has been around longer than he remembers, because he's friends with Mr. Immortal, who's another long-lived DC character, and his arch nemesis, of course, is everyone's arch nemesis in the DC universe. It's lived a long time, Vandal Savage.
Oh yeah,
So
so he
yeah,
goes back a long way if he's
so
Vandal
he's been
Savage.
around for a long time. And the book starts off, and they change it a little bit in here, because this wasn't exactly the way it was in the original series. But in this version, it says every time Mitch dies, he is made by his death. If he falls out of an airplane, he wakes up with the power to fly. If he's electrocuted into oblivion, he wakes up with high voltage fingertips, so on and so forth. Which isn't exactly the way I remember it, but it's not completely wrong.
So what happens if a building
Well,
falls on him and he gets
it's
crushed?
simplified thing. He gets the power. He gets the power that killed him.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
pretty much
it's
what they're saying.
So if
right.
an elephant
So
falls over and crushes him, he turns into an elephant.
he'll become
No,
strong.
he'll probably get the strength of an elephant. He probably get the strength of an elephant, equivalent to
Yeah.
of an
Or
elephant.
like
In a
if he
trunk.
gets poisoned, he'll be able to he'll be like poison ivy and can poison people or whatever.
Ooh, if he
I
gets
don't
eaten by
remember
a
being that way in the
shark.
original series. But it's a cool character. I've always liked Resurrection Man. But the problem is, again, you can only do so much with his power before it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. I get that. So small doses are good. Um, Side tangent. I believe it was during the Emperor Joker storyline they did back in the day. The villainous version of Resurrection Man, uh, who did the same thing every time he died, he came back to life with a different power. The supervillains used him to escape prison, because they kept killing him until he got a power that could break through all the walls.
Oh goodness.
So in
That's
here
just abusive.
you start off with this family's packing up a loved one's old house, and then you cut to this elderly lady who's talking to a doctor in a hospice care center, and he goes in, and they say that they tell her he's peaceful, lung function is still low, oxygen levels aren't great, but he's not in any distress. He has a strong desire to stay, but his body is giving out. You should speak your goodbyes to him. So you go in there, and this lady tells her elderly husband, they talk about all the wonderful life they had and their kids and how much they love each other. And basically they say goodbye. And then that night, the dude gets up out of the bed and walks out into the yard, um, and dies. And of course, it's Mitch Shelley. It's the Resurrection Man. He dies and he comes back to life, back in his, physical prime body. Um, but he makes a comment that this time is different, because he wakes up and he has all instead of having a little bit of amnesia and only remembering the last lifetime he lived, he remembers all of his lives.
Ooh.
So we're going back at least far to the Stone Age here with this, because he was around when Vandal Savage was. And he meets there's another character who just shows up and who's very mysterious, and he tells him, "You're different now, because how did they word it? Basically, because this time he died of old age, he died from time. When he came
Okay.
back to life, his power is time.
Time.
So, you find out that this person is another version of Mitch Shelley from a different universe who also had this happen to. And he basically uh I'm gonna call him Doctor Strange Mitch because he's got on the red cowl and stuff like he's Doctor Strange.
Okay.
So
Doctor Strange, Mitch.
Doctor Strange Mitch tells at this time old naked Mitch, um, that
You
his
could call him
destiny is
the Marvel Mitch. The Marvel I came to
yes.
bargain.
Yeah. He tells him that it's his destiny to find all of the different versions of himself throughout the multiverse who gained this power to help them explain what's happening to them, basically. And that they're being called together because there's someone out there in the universe that's basically Galactus is coming. But they don't call him Galactus. They just say uh, he shall eat all of existence uh, that he has set his eyes on in this universe. The end of all
Okay.
things, the last unmaking is upon us. So
Ooh,
this is the big bad of the series.
well, that's Galactus.
Yeah.
It sounds like
And
it.
but the way they're explaining it is if this not Galactus. Well, actually, I'm going to call him Unicron because he looks like a Unicron. If you ever read where
Transformers the
Transformers,
movie.
yeah, this is Orson Welles Galactus.
The Batman who.
He you find out if he actually succeeds, it's not just that he destroys the universe. He actually is destroying all of time. So what the two Mitch Shelleys are talking about is if this happens, you'll never have any of your happy memories. You'll have never met, you'll have never loved, all of that. So that's where it starts, and they're talking about having to figure out what to do about this person. And then we have a flashback to 1945 in New Guinea. Um, and of course, the Resurrection Man was in World War II because he's old. Um, but this was what I found really cool. It's tied into the grander DC universe. All of the versions of him that keep dying or resurrecting in World War II don't have any superpowers
Okay.
because he's in the European he's in the Pacific theater.
Okay, so he's doing the island. He's following
Yes.
MacArthur's island hop.
And he says far in Berlin, Hitler holds the spear of destiny, and with it he keeps the superhumans at bay. My returns from death have persisted despite this, but I manifest no powers to speak of. Because if you ever read Roy Thomas's All-Star Squadron back in the 80s, the reason all the Justice Society never went and just ended the war in 5 minutes is because Hitler had the Spear of Destiny, and the Dragon Emperor in Japan had the Holy Grail. And if you were a superhero and you went over there, if you were a magic-based hero, you actually would switch allegiances and become part of the Axis. And if you were more of a science-based hero, you just lost your powers.
Okay.
So he's not he's resurrecting, but he's resurrecting with no powers because of the influence of the Spear of Destiny,
But
which is
it's
kind of a neat little throwback for someone like me who really loved All-Star Squadron and liked the continuity. But he ends up getting captured and he's in a Japanese internment camp. And you find out that the commander of this camp is a little bit on the cuckoo side. Imagine that, because if you've never heard of it, you need to look into some of the things that Japan did during World War II for their
oh
experiments.
I've
Oh
seen
yeah.
some of the reports from
Oh
China
dear
of what
Lord,
they did there. There were things
yes,
that was horror movie level. even worse
Yes.
than what the Nazis did. And
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know,
So it's, I'm
yeah,
not going to go in
it's,
detail because it's no, but yeah.
but
So this this
once you study that, you get an understanding of why there is such animosity
mhm.
towards Japan from Korea and China because of
Yes.
what happened.
Yes. Well, let's just say for you who don't know, there's a lot of bad stuff, and a lot of it revolved around the fact that they could not get the Japanese soldiers to quit putting themselves upon the women in the villages. So they
Mm.
had to find a way to keep them from getting STDs. So that's what these camps were for. They were trying to figure it out. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, but so yeah, this is a camp like that, and the commander of the camp has a thing for he likes to torture the captured combatants, especially the I'm trying to how they exactly worded it in here, but basically he really had a thing for torturing the white soldiers, POWs. I don't
Oh,
remember
okay.
exactly how they worded it, but that's basically what it is. And so it
Gaijin.
becomes yes, it becomes Mitch Shelley's turn for what's going to happen, and they basically dissect him alive and feed the commander his heart and liver, and then throw his while he's still before he's completely dead. They throw him in a fire pit to burn him to death, and he dies. So, oh, lo and behold, he comes back to life. And now, because they threw him in all the fire, he comes back as the Human Torch.
He's, oh my goodness,
Wait, so
he's
he's wait, how can he be the Human Torch with the Spear of Destiny still being there?
well.
I'm going with the idea because they talk about that. Actually, you're right. I should have brought this up. This is in 1945. And while all of this is happening, one of the soldiers comes in and tells the commander Hitler killed himself and the war in Europe is over.
Yeah.
So this is between the fall of Berlin and the dropping of the bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
Yeah. So the Spear of Destiny is not in play anymore because Hitler's dead.
Okay.
Yeah. So he came back to life as a Human Torch, and he torched the village and killed everybody in it, all the bad soldiers. And when they're the allies have come through and they're cleaning up the wreckage, they find one burnt up, mangled, ugly body, and it says, "This one's still reading the pulse." And it's the commander who ate part of Mitch Shelley.
Oh no.
And so
Talk
that's
about
where,
heartburn. Yeah,
yeah.
talk about
So that's where it
heartburn after
ends.
he
Oh
ate what
man.
he ate. Flame war from the inside
Yes.
out, getting burnt inside out.
All I can
So
think of is that old Alka-Seltzer commercial. That's a
yes,
spicy meatball.
yes. So it doesn't say it, but it alludes to the fact that possibly this Japanese commander in the flashback that had him some Mitch Shelley heart could possibly be the big bad Galactus that's coming to eat everything. It doesn't say it,
Mm,
but that's what they allude to with the way it's written.
got it.
Um, and then they have some really cool
No,
throwback.
don't tell me that his heart gave him powers.
That's what it looks like. So I don't know. I'll find out in the next issue. But
Okay.
they also have some really cool storyboard art in the back of it that
Ooh.
is they say it's from the next issue, but this panel right here that has the JLA in it with him standing amongst them is straight out of the Resurrection Man comic from the 90s because
Okay.
I have it,
Okay.
and, and you can tell it's from the 90s because it's got electric blue Superman in it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but the artwork for the next issue looks really good, and like I said, I really love Resurrection Man because it's just such a ridiculous character and power. Um, I'm looking forward to the next couple of issues, which apparently came out, and I missed the whole series, but you can still buy it off the shelf because they treat Black Label books as evergreen titles, and they'll leave them out there a lot longer than the regular monthly books. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, it's if you've never read it, I recommend the old Resurrection Man comic. It had a bunch of cool characters, like he was getting chased down because when you're trying to find out what his deal is, he's being chased by these two bounty hunters that are, scantily clad bikini women because it's, the 90s. And they're called the body doubles.
Okay.
Like, the body doubles for like movie actresses and stuff
I'm
to make
getting
them
it.
look more
I'm
full
getting it.
figured.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a really good series, and this starts off really well. I've not read a lot from Ram V, but what I have read, which I've read part of his Swamp Thing series, where they introduce a new Swamp Thing, which is pretty good. So it's a good read, and like I said, I'm a sucker for just off the wall characters, and Resurrection Man was so much fun to read. I'm glad they have a new version of it out. The new 52 one wasn't that good, um, like most of the stuff in the new 52, because it was like, and I'm not knocking the new 52 too much, even though it deserves it. I really think they had good ideas with what they wanted to do, but they kept getting cut off at the knees by the higher ups like Dan DiDio, who wasn't sure what he wanted it to be. So a lot of those books fell into that. But Resurrection Man is really good. Quantum Karma is the newest series. Because it's a black label book, I think it's a little bit more than a standard issue, but it's a good read. I'm looking forward to the next ones. And if you've never read it, I guarantee you right now, you can go into your local comic book store and get all 28 issues of the original series out of the 50-cent bin. Because
Oh,
me and like 3 other people are the only ones who ever read it. So, and it's a
got it.
lot of fun. If you ever read any of the Marvel cosmic stories set in the Annihilation timeline,
Don't know that one.
Nova, Silver Surfer, all of those, and
Oh,
then
okay.
Annihilation Conquest, all of those were written, or the War of Kings, or any of that stuff. It was all written by Abbott and Lanning, who also wrote Legion Lost for DC back in the day. So it's a really good series. The original one and this one's pretty good. I wish Abbott and Lanning were on it, but I read through internet stuff that they had a falling out and broke up. So they're not going to do it. So I'm just glad that poor Mitch gets someone to write him for a little while.
Aw.
Well, I would say my other question for well, actually, I'm going to put it out there, but we're going to answer it next week.
Okay.
The rumor mill is that DCKO is going to reboot the DC universe again. What do you think this newer DC universe is going to entail? That's going to be the thought question for Nick.
Well, I'll guess I could answer that question next week, but the solicits for after KO have already come out, and it doesn't look like they're rebooting anything anytime soon.
Okay.
So, and I will say, because we were talking about making things too dark and too gritty, another thing I hate about modern stories is this unstoppable love for trying to make villains heroes just because they're popular. Because
sometimes those arcs don't make sense.
The solicits for Superman after KO are the Superman's missing. So who's going to step in to fill his shoes? Superboy Prime.
No, we don't need Superboy Prime. That's going to be messed up.
I'm like, I like Superboy Prime as a villain. I like Jason Todd as a villain. I like
Superboy Prime in the universe that he was originally in, where he was a hero.
Yes.
What they did to him afterwards, no, he's done. He experienced the truth about what he really is. There's no turning back from that.
Yeah, but yeah, so he's going to be Superman for a little while in the books, and I'm just like,
sorry,
you can have cool villains that are just bad guys. You can do that; it'll be okay. Yes, Superboy Prime should be the villain to end everything, because
he came close. He came close to doing that in Infinite Crisis.
Look, after Infinite Crisis, I was like, this is the best villain ever. Even without his powers, he beat the Earth 2 Superman to death with a rock. This is the best villain ever. You know?
And this is after flying through the sun, he beat him to death with a rock.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is Earth 2 Superman.
Oh my
They
god.
flew through a yellow sun. I was
And
like,
then he
oh,
beat
this
him
is about to become the fight that never ends. Nope.
Yes.
Boom, boom, boom.
Oh my god. And all I can hear right now is Charlie Brown saying, I got a rock. You know?
And before they even made it through the sun, the entire Green Lantern Corps tried to stop him by building a 300-mile thick wall of pure willpower, and he just flew through it.
Dang.
Made one straight little hole all the way through it. Carries Earth 2 Superman through it with him, pummeling him. It was like,
Oh my god.
Well, you know, that's like when they brought him back for the Sinestro Corps War. As much as I enjoyed the story, the fact that Sinestro had his own corps of ring bearers, and he had the cyborg Superman, and he had the Anti-Monitor, and Superboy Prime had rings. I'm like, there's no one is winning this fight.
That's just
This is no.
That's just
it's only a handful of people that's going to win that type of fight, but they don't want it on their hands because it's just too much.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's
You don't
just,
see the Spectre coming out there, jumping out there. It's like, okay, we got to stop you right now. Spectre doesn't play that type of stuff. He's like, okay, fine, whatever happens, happens. I clean it up later.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll answer your question next week. Oh wait, are we going to be on next week?
Next
This
week,
is the
no,
17th.
no, because Christmas is Thursday.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, we're not on next week. We are on. Are we on the week after? Because that's
That's why I'm about to pull up the calendar here. So
The week
no,
after
we
is
are gone
New
for
Year's.
two. We are gone for 2 weeks because Christmas is Thursday and New Year's is the following Thursday after that.
Well, see, we have 2 weeks to do our homework Joe gave us and come back with a good essay.
okay. I
Yeah,
know what I'm going to write mine in
we can read some
crayon.
books. But that's what the rumor is. The rumor is that the DC universe is going to be rebooted. Whether it affects the main DC universe or the absolute line is still up in the air. But DCKO is going to reboot one of them.
Yeah.
Or destroy one of them. I can't remember what the rumor mill is as far as the accuracy.
But they're making a lot of moves with new series coming out, and Scott Snyder is adamant about they're in current continuity.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see how this all falls out, because if they reboot it and then give me an Etrigan series, I'm kicking Scott Snyder in the crotch when I see him.
Okay.
Well, again, when was outside of the first 2 volumes of Demon, when has there been a good Etrigan series outside of those 2? Because volume 1 and volume 2 were very good, and I think there was a third one that was like meh.
Is the third one the one where you get introduced to the character Hitman in the annual?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Because that one was okay. It's just a matter of, I love me some Etrigan, and if they write his rhymes right, I don't care if the book is crap or not. Okay. I get a rhyming Etrigan, I'm happy.
Okay, so Parallax is saying she thinks it's going to be more like a 0 hour type of reboot and not like New 52.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like after the it's like after the first 2.
I was just wondering when you were going to get to that last part, but yeah, that was way to go, Leah.
She tried to break me up into laughter. She tried to break me again.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm really hoping it's not a full reboot if they do anything, because they're actually doing fairly well with continuity right now. I mean, not all the books are great, but everything makes sense. So,
I wouldn't say everything makes sense.
I'm ignoring
because
Tom King.
The main book that still doesn't make sense to me as a long time reader would not make sense until after he's offered a book.
I'm not counting Tom King. I'm just saying that now.
Yep.
Because the DC universe doesn't count Tom King. Because if you ever see Wonder Woman in any other book, it's not the Tom King Wonder Woman.
Exactly.
So, they're not counting it either. But yeah, well, interesting. I'll have to see. They're making a lot of money with the Absolute books right now. So I don't see too much happening to it either. But the entire purpose of the Absolute series was to lead into KO. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess. And I'll give a more comprehensive answer the next time we're on, like you told me to.
Okay. I mean, like I say, it's a thought experiment because I'm really digging a lot of the Absolute titles, but I would hate to see the Absolute universe go away because of KO. I would rather see the modern continuity from Dawn of DC go away more so than Absolute.
Yes, this is a fair point. I read the entire new history of the DC universes, and they rebooted after I read that. We're going to have problems.
I have a stupid question. Has nothing to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
I am currently working on, and I know I should have done this when I did the first book, but I didn't know everything then that I know now. I am now doing the character design sheets for my three main characters, Josette, her husband, and the daughter, as she is going to be in book 2. So we see her first at 4, and then we see her again at 9. So I'm going to do 2 character sheets for that, and then a character sheet for Josette and a character sheet for her husband. And does anybody want to see that? Do you guys, should I come and let Joe post those up so people can see, or does anybody care?
Yes, you should.
Yes, get people acclimated to those characters. Just like I should get the role-playing game done, because technically in the back of that I pretty much have like a official handbook to the AWF side of things in the back of it for the role-playing game. And a certain person has it, but I'm not certain if they played it yet.
I haven't played it because I haven't had people to play it with.
Okay.
So it's like it's like I don't have enough people to sit and just play it with. DC Chen's been developing his own game, and he was also working on his book. Oh, and I gotta ask Clyde what the word is on that comics for kids thing. Are they going to want us?
That's what, February, I believe.
That's like February. It's right before, and we have to talk about C2E2 because I need to start budgeting. I know you need a third rack, and that's going to take at least a third, if not half, of the table space I normally have.
No, if I had the third rack, I would set it where I would have like the other stuff that was set in between them, so it would be like 3 racks all together. You still have that one side.
No, because then it doesn't give you a place to stand. It's better if you're standing between those 2 racks, because then people can interact with you.
No, it would force me to go outside the booth and actually work. That's the key thing here.
Ooh, then I'll make a big pose for Candy side that you can wear on your chest. And
no, I'm not doing sandwich boards.
Oh, talking about conventions,
but we could put pose for Candy somewhere above.
I can put it on a hat. You could wear it on a beanie with and a bobble sock.
Yes,
we could probably put it above on a rack and everything where it could be clear as they walk past. It's like you could pose for Candy.
It's part of my thing when we do C2E2, and I always end up getting laryngitis about halfway through, because when I see somebody in a costume I really love, I'm yelling, "Come pose for Candy! Come pose for Candy!" And I take their pictures and I post them on my Facebook.
If we get to the point where we actually could afford more space, I would be more afraid to have a van there where on the side of the van it will be Elaine sitting there with the door open and a sign there that says "Pose for Candy." Coming to the bed.
Come to my van, little girl. You want to pose for candy?
I'm going to jail. Going to jail.
Talking about, I'm trying to find the article real quick. This will be something else we can talk about when we come back. Where is it? Marvel is doing their own free comic book day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Comic
heard
book giveaway day.
I did not know that. That's good
Yes.
to know.
We can talk about that next time too, because I just heard about it today.
Okay, share that article in the chat here. So I definitely would start doing research on that.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll have book 2 done. I will have copies of book 1 for C2E2, as well as copies of The Enslaved and then poster art. I don't know if I'll have book 2 completed, but what I was thinking of is maybe getting if I can get somebody to print out the first 10 little books of the first 10 pages. And then, you know, if you buy book 1, you get it free. If you're just curious, you can pay me 50 cents and you get it, you know, or whatever, depending on
do
how
it like
much
an ash can, do like a 50 cents ash can or something like that. Just
Yeah,
the first 10 pages. So it'd be like first 10
because I
pages
figure
ash can.
I can maybe get this to print that for me. And depending on how much they charge me per copy, will decide how much I end up having to charge for that, you know. But like, yeah, I was thinking if it stop. Facebook is in my face. You know, if depending on how much it is, it's like, okay, if they buy book 1, then I'll just go ahead and give them that for free. And then if they're like, oh, can I get that just to get? And it's like, well, this is book 2, and it's like, well, can I get that? It's like, yeah, whatever it costs me to print each copy of that, I'll just add another 25 cents to or something.
Yeah, it's they're calling it Comic Giveaway Day.
Comic Giveaway Day. Okay.
Yeah, and it's everything underneath Penguin Random House is going to be in it, joining in. So we can we can talk about that in 2 weeks.
All right.
We should maybe talk to James about if he wants, unless Jibba shows up, because, you know, Jibba Mole Anderson shows up and then there's not room for any of us crazy people.
It would be fun to do another signing at his place. I haven't done one in over a decade.
We talked about it, but then when I ran into the problems with first Kablam and then Amazon, it was like I stepped back because it's like I got to get this all sorted. And then when I did a little more studying, it's like, oh, I got to get my copyright and my ISBN sorted. Because if we do well enough where he decides he wants to order copies to sell, then, you know, I've got to have that set so he can do that and not have any sort of craziness about it. You know, but it is Unky Joe, I ripped my loungy pants. This is why I don't wear pants. Oh, poor Beanie. Poor Beanie.
It's okay, mine are too.
Well, anyway, I'm losing my voice.
Okay, so go ahead and say the goodbyes here.
Guys, it's been fun. I'm going to miss you for these 2 weeks, but, you know, I'll have some stuff that you can see when we come back, and we're going to have some interesting discussions and whatnot. I'm going to write my report in crayon on individual sheets just to be stupid.
Now you got me thinking about the Weird Al Dare to Be Stupid song. Dare to be stupid.
You know, but yeah, thank you for joining us, whether you're here with us live, whether you catch us later on. We love you. You're the reason that we're here, because otherwise we're just a bunch of crazy over 40 folks screaming out into the ether. Come find me, Elaine at Elaine Haygood. I am here on YouTube. I've got videos of stuff. I've got playlists of stuff. If you're interested in learning about art and stuff, I've got interesting artists and other people that I follow. Who knows? You should find something that appeals to you, you know. And if you want to, come to my website, linscaponline.com. Go down to the bottom of the page where it says contact us. Leave me a note. It comes to me directly. And then if you're lucky, I will tell you all about the traveler. Okay. So bye-bye. Have a blessed Yuletide. Have a happy New Year. Let's see if we can't find something interesting in the year to come. Peace.
And there's Cliff.
Thank you. Come again. Happy Merry Holidays to everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and I will have read DCKO 2 by then to troll Joe with.
Oh yeah, you gotta troll me. You gotta troll me a lot. I gotta pay some more stuff off of my pull list, and eventually I'll get more of my books.
And if you're really, really bored and don't have anything to do this holiday season, come to Olive Branch, hang out with me. I'll put you to work organizing comics. New Year's resolution is to do that. So come on down, y'all. Thank you. Come again.
All right. And that brings it to me, where we have to say this episode of Comic Book Spectrum is brought to you by Jeffrey Hayes and Plasma Fire Graphics. If you need that cover for your brand new novel, graphic novel, comic book, or whatever, give Jeffrey Hayes a call. Why? Because you want an award-winning artist on your cover, because that will bring people to your table asking you more about your story. And if you don't believe me, take a gander at this video.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasma Fire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
You've seen the graphics, you've seen what he can do. Now give Jeffrey Hayes a I shouldn't say a phone call, but a message over there at Plasma Fire Graphics, or contact him via his Facebook group for plasmafiregraphics.com. Unlike everybody else, I'm not going to say happy holidays just yet, because you got me for this upcoming Saturday and the Saturday after Christmas and the Saturday after New Year. So the Saturday after, well, actually this upcoming Saturday. So I'll probably say my happy holidays then. After Christmas, I'll probably say my New Year's, and then we're back to regular schedule. So you got me from the Desolate Small Press Publisher for the next couple of weeks here, but there is no Comic Book Spectrum for the next 2 weeks here. So enjoy the little bit of respite from the show here. I do thank everybody for watching the show. I thank those who subscribe just to watch this show. We'll see you back here in 2026 for another episode of Comic Book Spectrum. Unlike our founder, Brian K. Morris, I do not care if you wash your hands, but never, and I do mean never, apologize for being awesome. We'll catch you in 2026 now. See you later. Live life, grow, and be well. And we are officially out for the year of 2025 here on Comic Book Spectrum. So long.